Here we are this morning, and we are continuing on with our theme for the year, oneness, a day at a time. And I must confess, I've just been going back and forth in my head. What should we do today? Should I get up and just talk, or should we do a Q&A? I'm wondering how people are feeling, just where people are. The last several months have been more than a notion, I'll say, for some of us. Well, really for all of us. And there's a thread that we have at Centers for Spiritual Living where all of the ministers talk to each other. And so last week, there was a lot of discussion around what should you talk about on Sunday and how should you show up on Sunday. This was last Sunday, not this Sunday, of course. And so people were saying just show up and be authentic and give people room to feel. Don't get in the way of people's feelings, and, a few more things. And then it circled back around after Sunday, and there were lots of people in the thread saying just how many people were at service, that they hadn't experienced so many people return back to the building as they did last Sunday. And it caught my attention because I was thinking, wow, this place was full on Sunday. And in that moment, I became so filled with gratitude that we could be here, that the doors were open. Because truly, 98% of what's happening here on Sunday is that we get to be here, that our doors are open. And I was proud that we could be here and that our doors could be open for people who hadn't been here in a while, for people who really needed to be here that Sunday. And so I hope that you all are proud too when you come to the center and call it your own, because it is your own. It belongs to all of us. It doesn't belong to me, it belongs to us. So I just wanted to share that piece. And let me then just get into the message then this morning. And as always, I want to start with a few principles, like I do every Sunday. That's taken from what Ernest Holmes wrote over 100 years ago, or about 100 years ago, titled What We Believe, and we've titled them Spiritual Principles. And this morning, we're working with spiritual principle number 1. You can get a copy of this by doing a search online for Ernest Holmes and What We Believe, or you can sign up to be on our mail list, and you can get a copy of this as well. Spiritual principle number 1, it states, we believe in God, the living spirit, almighty one, indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. We believe this one manifests itself in and through all creation, but is not absorbed by its creation. Spiritual principle number 2, we believe in the individualization of the spirit in us, and that all people are individualizations of the one spirit. And spiritual principle number 7, we believe in the direct revelation of truth through our intuitive and spiritual nature, and that anyone may become a revealer of truth who lives in close contact with the indwelling God. So this morning, let me just set the stage. I don't have a whole lot of hoopla in me this morning, just a simple message. Just a simple message. Our theme, oneness a day at a time. has extended to us, as I said back in January, the invitation to practice, to meditate, to pray, to contemplate, to journal, to pray, to meditate, to practice, to chant, to do whatever it is that you have to do to begin to release any sense of separation. Our theme for the year extended us the invitation to do something. Do something. I said at the beginning of the year that if you didn't have a spiritual practice, that now was the time to start a spiritual practice. And if you had a spiritual practice, I extended the invitation for us to go deeper in our spiritual practice so that we can begin to shed any doubts of our oneness with God, so that we can begin to live in a place where there is no sense of separation. I suggested that we move into practice so that we could further acquaint ourselves with our inner sanctuary, so that when things happen out there, what's in here doesn't get disturbed. So now is not the time to start practice. January was the time to start the practice, right? So our practice helps to eliminate distractions and disturbances and doubt. Our distractions and our disturbances lead to doubt, but our practice makes it so that they don't have the impact and the effect on us that maybe they would have had once before. That's why the practice is so important, so that we don't get caught up in the distractions. And there's a lot to distract us. And everything can be a distraction if you let it be a distraction. The song said, I choose to live a spiritual life. Any of it and all of it can be a distraction if you choose to let it be a distraction. Just a simple message for us this morning. You see, our practice is sacred. It's in our practice that we find strength and we find serenity that comes from the practice. In fact, the only place to experience strength and serenity is in the practice. The only place you can meet peace is in the practice of peace. The only place you can experience and meet love is in our practice of love. Are you with me? Just a simple message today to practice. There's no place to get what you can get out of your practice. There's no amount of money that you can spend to purchase it outside of yourself. There's no one you can go to who can give it to you. We must practice. We must practice. Our practice is like Holy Communion that our Christian brothers and sisters partake in. It's a ritual for them of remembering, a ritual for them of receiving, a ritual for them of thanksgiving. And so our practice is a ritual. It's sacred. I remember when I was a little girl at church, and they would bring out the tiny pieces of chopped up cracker, right? And the grape juice, right? Boy, I love that Welch's grape juice. I don't know, but I'm off track now, but was it just me, or did you always seem like, man, I'm so hungry, and that little cracker just really filled me up? It really filled me up. But as I was remembering it, it always seemed like folks would partake in that folks would partake in this ritual for the sake of it. You know, they would receive the cracker and the juice just for the sake of it. You know, kind of like, it's what we do. It's just what we do. But we should not enter into our practice just for the sake of it. We should enter into our practice for the experience in it. There's something there for you if you will decide to practice. Don't let your practice just be the taking in, you know what I mean, of the rich, sweet, good grape juice. It's something more there for us. But we got to practice. It certainly felt like they were doing it just for the sake of it, and at least that's what it seemed like to me. I don't know. Maybe there was some discussion prior to or the days leading up to communion. I don't know. But it always seemed like people were just showing up for the sake of it. So it's important then, why I'm talking about this today, it's because it's important that we understand why we do what we do. Don't just do it. If you need some further explanation around why we do it, why we meditate, why we pray, why we journal, why we vision, why the practices are so important to us, why the practices are incorporated into our classes, why the practices are incorporated into our meetings, why the practice happens before we come out here on a Sunday morning, why do the practitioners pray? Because our practice makes it so. That we are not disturbed, that we are not in doubt, but that we are full of faith. So let us then be moved not to practice just for the sake of it, but rather for the experience in it. This is important because things are going to always happen. Things are going to always be happening out there. I remember it was back when we were into COVID, and then the thing happened with the police, and a group of ministers got together online, and it was like, oh, what are we going to do about all this chaos and confusion? And in my mind, I thought, well, chaos, any kind of chaos and confusion is chaos and confusion. It doesn't matter what the color of it is. Chaos and confusion is chaos and confusion, and if it's in you, it's in you. It didn't just get there because that happened. It's already in you. Are you with me? It didn't just get there. It's already in us, because things are not always going to work out the way we want them to. People are going to disappoint us. Yeah. Even those of us who choose to live a spiritual life, people are going to disappoint us. There'll be moments and times where we might find ourselves slipped back into the darkness. All of this. That's why the practice is so important. We might be in this moment questioning, how could this happen as it relates to the outcome of the election and anything else that might be happening in our world. Why did God let this happen? These kind of questions we might be asking ourselves, and it's just because you want the truth. That's our endeavor, to get to the truth. Yet, we know the truth. God is all that there is. That's the only truth you need to get to. God is within me. That's the only place you need to go. It's the only place you need to go. But when we're not practiced, love seems far away, and peace seems far away, and truth seems so far away. But when we are practiced, as the spiritual principles suggest, when we are living in close contact with the indwelling God, truth emerges and truth unfolds and truth prevails. It's the truth that you need. That's why the practice is so important. The truth that I need might not be the truth that you need, but the truth that you need is within you. We can show up to the center of peace and we can offer descriptions of what God is. And in fact, that is all that we do. I can offer a description of what love is. I can offer my description of what truth is. And that is all that it is, a description. You have to come to know what God is for yourself. A simple message today. We have to come to understand what we believe. We believe in God, the living Spirit, Almighty One, indestructible and absolute, absolute. We believe that that Spirit is the individualization in each one of us. We have to come to know that, be certain about it. Joel Goldsmith said that there is no God in this world until you experience God. There is no God in this world until you yourself experience God. And I'm here to tell you that it's possible for you to experience God. You've got to know that you can experience God. Just how do we come to experience God? Well, if you stay here long enough, if you take your studies seriously, if you take your practices seriously, you'll come to find out that you have to be willing to let go of your desire to be right, so that our desire to understand precedes our desire to be right. Our desire to understand must at some point in time, for those of us who are choosing a spiritual life, our desire to understand has to be up front. It has to precede any desire within us to understand what happened. Any desire in us to want to know, why did God let this happen? What is greater is our desire to understand. And so we come to understand then that we must let go of living in a world of opposites. This is the greater thing. There is no opposites in spirit. In our human world, there's opposites there to inform us so that we can reform our thinking and transform our lives, a very necessary part of our human experience. But in our spiritual experience, there is no opposites. God is all that there is. What is there to be disturbed by? What is there to be distracted with? What is there to have doubt about? And God, not only is God is all there is, but God is within me. What is there to be disturbed about? And what is there to be distracted about? And what is there to doubt? We all must come to this experience of God within ourselves. Listen, I'm just a little girl from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And there ain't nothing more special about me than there is about you. If you take time to practice, if you'll receive this simple message today, to practice, because it is our practice that makes it so. I'm not disturbed by it. I'm not distracted about it. I'm going to practice. I'm going to practice. I'm not walking around in doubt about it. I am practicing. I'm praying. I'm calling people for support. I'm meditating. I'm journaling. I'm writing it out. I'm dancing it out. I'm singing it out. I'm not disturbed by it. Reverend Knight used to say, there's something within me that is not disturbed. There's something in each one of us that is never disturbed, never distracted. There's something within you that's never, ever disturbed. That's the point we're trying to get to. Move away from the opposites and start to begin to reform our thinking and transforming our lives. Because that which is. The truth is, and that's all that there is. That's it. So let us understand and commit to understanding there is nothing to oppose the truth, nothing opposite to the truth. And each one of us is equipped to arrive at the truth. It's just a simple message this morning. Practice in whatever way feeds your soul. Practice. Say whatever prayer you know how to pray. Practice. What the world needs now is for us to practice. What the world needs now is for us to be kind. What the world needs now is for us to be loved. What the world needs now is you and me. It's you and me. What the world needs now is for us to be kind, to be compassionate, for us to be love and to show up as love. What the world needs now is just simply for us to show up, to open up our hearts, to be present one to the other, to practice. What the world needs now is you. I'm serious. It's you and me. There ain't nothing special about me that's not special about you. Listen, the same God that's in me is the same God that's in you. The same truth that is within me is the same truth that is within you. It's time that we develop a practice where we move beyond having the ability simply just to describe God, simply just to describe truth. We've got to develop a practice where we are God and we are the truth. Jesus said, I am the truth. I'm the truth. I'm love. I'm light. I'm kind. I'm compassionate. I care. I care. Not just about me, but I care about you. The distractions, the disturbances, let's just be clear, it's always there. It's always there. It's always there. And everything that you are desiring is already in you. The peace that you desire, it's already in you. Ernest Holmes has a reading that I forgot to read to you all today. It's titled, God, Your Personal Self. God, Your Personal Self. The mind in you is God. The law in you is God. The healing presence within you is God. The peace that is within you is God. God, your personal self. God, your personal self. The life that is living you is God. The God within you. I'm not going to be disturbed. I'm not going to be deterred. I'm not going to be distracted. I'm not going to live in doubt. I'm not going to live in doubt. I'm not going to be distracted. I'm not going to be deterred. I'm not going to be disturbed. This is what you got to start telling yourself. And not just telling yourself, but move beyond the mere word and to start to live it. To practice, to practice, to practice. Everything you're desiring now is already in you. Not just an experience of, we're not here just to have an experience of being in the world. We're here to have an experience of God as you in this world. God as you in this world. That's all I got this morning. Just a simple message. Practitioners, please come and join me. I need you. We need you. Let us take this moment to be so conscious and intentional about our practice of prayer. Let us be so aware in this moment of the one mind that is in each of us, expressed in us in an individual capacity and way, and yet it is one, meaning that what's in me is in you. The truth that's in me is the same truth that's in you. The peace that was in Jesus is the same peace that's in you. The same peace that Buddha, the same peace that wherever it is that you call the greater something, whatever was in them is in you. As Jerry reminded us this morning, we are one, meaning all that there is in this world, it must be in us because there can be no separation. And in our conscious and intentional time of practicing and being in prayer today, let us affirm and know this truth. We don't move into a state of affirmation for the sake of it. We move into a state of affirmation to affirm the truth. So let us affirm the truth. God is all that there is. God is within me and God is within you. There's something in you and there's something in me that is undisturbed by it all. Yes. Something in you and something in me without the desire to have to name it and to color it in and to call it this and to call it that. No. Something in me is not disturbed by it. Don't care about it. My grandmother used to say, cut out all that racket. Cut out all that racket. I'm not disturbed by it. I'm not deterred by it. Something in me and something in you. Let us know and affirm today it to be so. Oh, glory to God. Let us know it to be the very source and substance of our life, the very source and substance of our peace. Let us affirm and know today that no longer are we seeking and searching on the outer for it, but we always turn to the inner God within. We always turn to the inner life. We always turn to the inner light. Peace ain't gone nowhere. Joy cannot elude us. It is ours to take in. Understanding ain't going nowhere. Let us be so moved today then that we all are moved into a spiritual practice. Let us all be moved today in such a way that we become the light unto the world, that our gift of practice heals the whole world, that our practice of love heals our families and heals this nation, that our insisting on affirming and knowing peace to be right here and right now, that it changes everything. Let us be so moved to practice today. In whatever way that is fulfilling to you, that brings you closer to having an experience of the indwelling God, that moves you to affirming the truth, God is within me. I can never be separate and apart from the source and the substance of my life. I can never be in a place, in a space where I don't know. I always know what I need to know. We always know what we need to know. You always know what you need to know. I'm so grateful for this moment of pause, this moment of being conscious and intentional together, this moment of having our doors open and our hearts swung open, this moment of having our minds open to insight and revelation. I'm so grateful for this moment, for all that I have received today from each one of you. I'm so grateful for it, the minuscule and the mighty. I'm so grateful for it. I'm so grateful that I had a place to come to practice. I'm so grateful that there was people there already practicing, waiting on me to get there to show me the way. I'm so grateful about it. I'm so glad about it that I had a grandmother who prayed. I'm glad about it. I didn't know it, but I know it now. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm grateful that the doors were open when a time I needed them to be open. I'm grateful. Let us be moved in this moment then just to simply to gather the words, the songs from the words, the love from our hearts, the glancing of the eye. Let us not miss out on any of it. Let us fill ourselves up with it, where the word becomes made flesh. Not just today, but when you walk out these doors. Not just today, but tomorrow. Not just tomorrow, but the next day. Not just the next day, but the day after that. Not just the day after that, but the days after that. Let us just let it go. Let it all go. And let the Spirit run our lives. Let the God within run our lives. Not a God that's far off in the sky, but the God that is within me. As we let the words go, we accept that it is already so. We're moving into a great stance of expectancy, of peace, of love, of joy, of understanding. It is ours. Let us take it in, give thanks for it, and come together in agreement about it by saying, and so it is. And so as we journey on throughout our week, let me remind you, not simply to practice for the sake of it, but to practice until you experience God. And so it is.
And so it is.
Excuse me.